All right, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Bernard Cannon. I'm the editor photographer for the website known as the Photo Pit. Here we are continuing our series of interviews with artists that are going to be performing at the Blue Ridge Rock Festival that runs from September the 9th through September the 12th in 2021. I want to introduce everyone to the band here known as Friends in Hell. How are you guys doing today?
Good, good.
Good. Thanks for taking the time. And I will say to
Good.
our viewers and people who are going to read the article, we actually had this interview scheduled at one point. We unfortunately had to reschedule. And then I had to reschedule on them for a second time. So maybe the third time's a charm. We'll get this done today and everything will go well. All right. Let me have you guys introduce yourselves and we'll work our way through with your names and role in the band.
All right.
I'm Noah Dwalaby, the lead vocalist.
I'm Cody Arbizo, the guitarist.
I'm PJ Lester, the bassist, also go by Patrick.
I'm Tony, guitarist. And I'm Bert, the drummer.
All right. Good deal. So, like we said, when we first started our conversation back a couple of weeks ago, let's talk about how you guys got your actual band name of Friends in Hell, because it immediately drew me into the stories that you guys were telling me. And I'd like our fans to kind of hear and get to know a little bit more about how you guys actually came together, especially with the band name.
Yeah, so it started out along, I think sometime around mid 2019. We were all going through like a really tough period at first. It started with an old vocalist named Tobias, as well as me and PJ, me and Noah. We were the original three, and we were all like, we were all going through a tough period. I had been struggling with my depression. It'd been coming back a lot. I had just gotten kicked out of my apartment and lost like two of my best friends because they became bad people and all that, and had to move in with my fiance's mom. And so like we were started out in the bedroom in my fiance's mom's house. And at first we were just doing it to write music to kind of just cope with the stuff we were going through. And because we were all personally going through like our own trauma, I guess, at the time. And so it started out just writing music, and eventually that singer had left the band and we wanted to start it for something for reals. But so when we were thinking of the name, we were thinking of a good way, and we were just friends at the time. And so we kind of got the name by we were all going through our own hell, and so we were just friends in hell, like going through it together.
And I remember that. And PJ, you had a story you wanted to share with that too, correct?
Yes, I joined the band later, I'd say beginning of 2020. So I've been here for about a good year and a half. So my personal health, I was really heavy set when I was younger. You wouldn't believe, I was like 300 pounds. I'm a little bit skinnier now. But like I had a bad stomach issue. I'm not sure if it was like hereditary or something, but over the past 3 years, I just lost all that weight. And like it was actually really bad. I was hospitalized a few times because of how bad my stomach was.
Wow.
Got a few surgeries done and stuff. So I've kind of been through my own personal hell. I like throw up almost every day. So, but the main story I had was that I felt like I've never always belonged. My parents, their line of work is like aircraft mechanic, so they always traveling, so I never get to see them all the time. And so I never really got to like be with my parents a lot. So if I did, it was good times, but I was really with my sisters. I have 3 older sisters, so like it was a year with one sister, 6 months with another sister until she had enough of me, and then I go with another sister, and then maybe I go back to my first sister I was with. So they kind of like just traded me off. But like after a while, I started like, I just need to focus on something that's for me, and that was music. So I started young, a saxophone, 5th grade, and then when I went to middle school, they introduced me to band. So I decided to take up the jazz bass. So I was in jazz band, and so I just started playing for about a good 4 years. And then my senior year, I decided not to do music because I felt like I don't know, it wasn't for me anymore. So I almost dropped music entirely. And then I just started picking it back up after school. I had a whole scholarship. I actually had a 2-year scholarship for Rapima, and I went for 1 semester and dropped out. It just wasn't for me at the time. I was like, not in the right mindset. And so like at that time, I was feel like my life was almost rock bottom. And then met Cody. It was kind of coincidentally, like I was just playing bass on my Snapchat because I was feeling myself that day. He said, "Hey, I don't know you play bass, and you want to try out for my band?" And I said, "All right, I'll come on by." And so he sent me one song to learn how to play, or just show him what I have or what I know how to play. And I came down and they liked it right away. I remember I think the second time I came by, I recorded some vocals for one of our songs. And so wow, I'm like not even in the band yet, and I'm recording vocals for them. So I said, all right, I'm down for this. And so they asked me the serious question: "Are you interested in joining the band?" Like for reals. It's not something that like it's gonna be like a side job. It's gonna be like full on. So I'm gonna take this on. It's my calling.
Okay. And what about you two?
Burke and Tony.
Yeah. Tony, you had a story. I remember because I remember what Berkey had said to us. So Tony, tell me your story.
Yeah, so yeah, I recently joined the band October 2020. Or no, was it? No, it was August of 2020.
You might speak a little louder.
So basically, it was like August of 2020 when I recently joined the band, and it was a great opportunity that I actually joined the band because like not only that like it was like an exciting opportunity for me to like actually join a band, but it was even great that like we also fit in with the entire band because like I also have been through like a tough time in my childhood as well because like all through my elementary years I was within bullied because like I would have like this mumble and stutter accent throughout my entire like my life, and so I've been taking like speech classes for quite a while because like usually like I would like say something like a small sentence, and then usually I would put like double words into like the same sentence. Like it's like a common thing that would happen to us, but like I've been working on it for quite a while. So yeah, um, when when I was in third grade, I was always bullied and always been picked on fights because like it's for like who I look like because I was like this really chubby brown kid in the playground just like by yourself like walking around the playground just like no flexing and shit like that. Yeah, so it was a tough time for me to even like get along with friends because like no one even liked me because like you know I was like the dumb kid in the classroom. So uh same thing happened to like from fourth grade to sixth grade. It was a tough time. So I started making friends when I was in seventh grade. Uh, but yeah, anyways, when I was in fifth grade, I got into like actual guitar because I've always been into like Guitar Hero. Guitar Hero is like a on my Xbox, and it was like one of my most favorite like video games of all time. So I recently like got into like actual guitar after my grandma was like, "Hey, would you like guitar lessons?" And I'm like, "Oh hell yeah, I would love that." It was like the most exciting opportunity in my entire life because like I actually thought that she was joking at first, because like she would usually joke like for like this one time where she was like, "Hey, would you like to go shooting?" I'm like, "Well, yeah, I never done that, but like I would love to." And then she was like, "No, I'm just kidding. Just wanted to see if you're crazy or not." I'm like, "What? What do you mean?" That was like when I was like 12 years old. She was just testing my ability, like my mental ability. It was dumb. So like, anyways, uh, but yeah, I actually started like guitar lessons. I'll say like in 2015 of December with it was the guitarist of Pyrotechnica, Justin. Shout out to him, yo. Check him out. Check out Pyrotechnica. But like his guitarist was my guitar instructor for like 2 years. Actually, no, like 2.5 years. I'll say it like that. He was like one of the best guitar instructors. So like he's the one who like taught me like the basic chords when I was barely starting out. Like how to like get some like good progressions and like sonic scales to like warm up and stuff like that. And then like I got some new songs down. Like my very first song that I ever learned was 21 Guns by Green Day. It was cool, man. I'll never forget that because like I would usually go to a guitar center for like about a week, and that entire week of just like do those lessons, I would just like be like, hey, can we cover 21 Guns? I just want to practice it.
How did you end up meeting up with the rest of the band?
What's it called? I was in a band with Kirk, called Minority, and that's how we met. Uh, so recently, I guess like you stepped in first because like
They saw a video of me on your Instagram, and that's how they found me.
yeah. So he joined the band first, or no, he was trying out the band first because they checked him out. But like, I guess you told them about me, and then that's when they were asking the opportunity for me, I guess.
Well, they were also asking about you because they saw your stuff on Instagram, so they already knew a little bit about you. And I put in a good word, pretty much.
So like, yeah. First, I was being what's the word? I was being invited to the a studio team for mixing and stuff like that. So we were calling it Blaze Studios when I was accepted to it. But like during the tryouts or no, not the tryouts for an interview for the studio thing, basically I was even offered to like join Present Hell because I saw the guitar in the corner of the room. And I was like, "Hey, yo, can I? Is it cool if I try that? Because it was a really nice like 7-string LPD sitting in the corner, and I'm like, just want to jam with it because like there's nothing to do, you know." So I guess they like my playing, and then like Cody and Noah were just like thinking about, hey, you should join the band because they were looking for a rhythm guitarist. So it was a great opportunity, and I just really want to take it too. And it was really great as well because like I even fitted with all of you guys because like I have also went through my entire childhood, and music has been like the only uh, only thing that I have in my entire life because like I haven't been making friends for quite a while. I mean, I have made friends for like a couple years, and I've been talking to people like and then, but like I don't really like have a lot of conversations with a lot of people, because like the way how I talk, the way how my accent changes, like every couple seconds, couple hours, it doesn't really like it doesn't match with the reaction I get, or it doesn't really match the mood that I'm in. I'll be sad, but then like I will be acting like if I'm mad. So yeah. Also, my bad because like I'm sick at the moment and like I have strep throat. So like it's a little bit hard for me to talk because like
No, no worries. No worries.
So like kind of sounds like I'm about to like break down, but no, it's like it's my throat.
No, you're all good.
Yeah, half the band is sick. So that's why we
not a
have
good thing either. That's bad. You guys can't
No,
go
that's-
anywhere.
Yes.
That's the case.
We're all negative on COVID, so we
No, that's good. Good to hear. Well, see, but Burke, when we were talking the last time, you were saying compared to everyone else's story that you just didn't have that
Yeah.
kind of background, right?
Yeah, honestly, it's like full support pretty much, and I never really went through much. Not more than pretty much any normal person. Like obviously, not every day is perfect, but like I haven't really gone through like much hell.
Yeah, well, you're fortunate. You're very fortunate then in that aspect. I mean, and that's the thing that right away when we talked that one day, before unfortunately we had to do that reschedule, is that you guys have. I mean, honestly, like for a band so young, I mean, let me fill in some gaps here. You guys are from the Arizona area, correct?
Yeah.
Right. And how long have you been together as a band?
Full ensemble, we've only been together about a year.
Okay. Right. So, but for only about a year's worth of time, and for all the things that, that you guys have gone through in life already. I mean, that's heavy. I mean, for me, even like, just thinking about it for, because I'm pretty guessing that I'm much older than all of you that are there, that, I mean, even for me, I'm like, that's a lot, that each of, like, except for you, Burke, sorry, but that every one of you have dealt with, in life. And that's hard. I mean, that's a struggle. I mean, I know somebody mentioned it. I think PJ said, but for the rest of you, is like, has music really helped you kind of through, all of your struggles and stuff? Has that been like the saving grace for the majority of you?
Yeah, when I lost my dad at 15, and because of that, I struggled with depression. I went really deep into it, 15, 16, and I'm not ashamed to talk about it now, but there was a moment where there were a few moments where I did almost take my life, and the only thing that had stopped me is I remember seeing my guitar in the room. I was getting ready, and I saw my guitar in the corner, and I said, I think I want to play guitar one more time before I do this. Because at that time, my depression had taken over, and I quit music. I stopped playing it. I quit marching band and all that. And so I was like, I think I'll just play it one last time. And those 5 minutes that I planned on playing it turned into 3 hours, then turned into 4 and 5, and then just started listening to music. And like metalcore really, I felt like all the bands in metalcore related and went through what I was going through. And so I started playing metal, and it helped a lot. So my goal with this band is, if I can save one person's life, just like music saved my life, it's worth it.
I'm glad you're here for us to have this conversation with, and that you didn't, make that choice to go do that. So that's good to hear. So thank you for sharing that. And I will say this, for anyone who's watching and listening, when you hear these stories, as I've always said, even with friends, if you feel like you need help, please get help. There are always so many options that are out there. I'll make sure that I'll put, the mental health line, that's a national hotline that's out there. We'll put that into our interview in the article. So this way people always have an access to do it. So please do so. Please don't make that choice. If, even when the worst of times come around, right? There are always something there to live for, at least the way that I've always looked at things. So please, always ask for help, before making those decisions. And what's interesting to me is with your, if I've been around for a year only as a band, I know that you have 2 singles, at least video wise, that I've seen that's out there. I was really surprised on how, what's the word I'm looking for? I use the word polished. That's been like my buzzword around these interviews, how polished you guys sound. It's like, I guess for me, maybe it's my expectations. I don't expect a band that's like a year in to sound as clean and as professional as you guys do with the 2 singles that I've listened to. What does anyone want to throw out there? What do you think attributes to that? Have you, because for me, like looking at you, I'm assuming that you haven't, you've been doing music for a couple of years, but I don't assume that you've been, with bands for long periods of time. And I'm guessing just because of age, but maybe I'm assuming too much.
I really think that our professionalism comes from really stems from Noah and Cody. Like ever since I joined the band, they were already on it. Like they were always acting professional. We even had a podcast for a minute. We were running, so we had a schedule. So I think that really stems from Noah and Cody.
Okay. Noah and Cody, what do you got to that?
Well, I would say, just all of us getting along so good. I think we all hold each other to high expectations and don't want to let each other down, and I know Burke's a maniac. He's practicing every day in the band room, I feel like, for like hours and hours, banging drums. Tony too. Tony plays the guitar so much. So I just think, 2 young guys, Tony and Burke, just practice so much. And then, the rest of us, PJ, me, Cody, we just, we don't want to let each other down. So we put in extra work and we just don't slow down, I guess.
Yeah, and I think a lot of it really has to contribute with, like, we take this as a career. Most people take it as, okay, it's a side thing. If I make it, I make it. If I don't, I'm fine just doing what I am. But we strive for this. We want it to be our career. I mean, going to Blue Ridge, I almost lost my job doing, because I chose to go to Blue Ridge over my job.
Wow.
And, so like we take it as a career. We take it serious. We have schedules. We have deadlines we meet. if people aren't on, and we make sure we separate the friendship from the business part. Like if something happens where people are late or stuff like that, we talk to them in a professional manner, but we let them know, like, you know, we're not mad at you as a friend, but as business, we treat it like a business, like it's an actual
Exactly.
business.
Yeah, tell me, as my mind gets boggled for a second there. I mean, and I know there's always, you know, with a lot of artists who are trying to make this full-time careers, that there's always sacrifice in some way, shape, or form. That's just always part of the story I've listened to. But you said you gave up your job to be able to make the Blue Ridge performance.
I almost did. They had told me that they were not going to, because we're doing a 2-week tour as well, like
Okay.
on the way up to Blue Ridge and back. And so like they had told me they've never given anybody more than 1 week off of vacation, and that they don't know if I could. So I should start looking. And so I went higher up and higher up until I found someone high enough that I can work something out with. So I didn't lose it, but if I didn't continue pushing to keep it, I would have had to make the choice.
Good for you. Good for you.
He told him straight up. He told him straight up. He was like, if it comes down to this job or my tour, I'm gonna pick my tour. I'm not gonna think twice.
Wow.
So he made it on the table. So
Yeah. So I mean, let me ask this quick question. You know, to the rest of you, is that, you know, I mean, let me not say you're dealing with the same struggles. I mean, is the dedication in that hard? I'm assuming for all of you that that this is full time is the way we want to go, right? That this is not a side thing for any of you.
definitely.
Yeah, I quit my job recently. I put my 2 weeks in. Just so the beginning of August, I just wanted to make sure that I have a whole month just to focus on music and vocals. So I even quit my normal job that I get normal income from, just so I could focus on music.
Wow. That is dedication. That's absolute dedication.
Thank you.
Yeah. I mean, it's at the same time, you know, I mean, I know for you guys, like, you know, that's always, it's a risk too, right? I mean, and I understand for a lot of, you know, artists who are starting to come up and trying to make their way into bigger and better things, you know, sometimes the sacrifices are what needs to take place to get there to do it. So I definitely hope this pans out for you guys for sure. Let's keep on this gear for a second, then I want to turn back again. So you did mention that you're on a 2-week tour on your way up to Blue Ridge, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah. So tell me some of the places that you guys are stopping along the way.
You know, I think it's with COVID and, you know, some bars are full force, some bars are not full force. The booking agents here are, we're expecting the dates within the next week.
Okay.
But what I've been told is 4 Texas states and a New Mexico date. Outside of that,
Kansas City, we heard.
maybe Kansas City. Like, yeah. So like outside of that, we don't know, but I mean, we should have a poster with the dates in the next week or 2 at least. So.
Yeah.
All right. When you get that, send that over to me as soon as you get it.
For sure.
Help spread the word around that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So let's keep talking about with Blue Ridge for a second. So how did you guys end up getting onto the lineup? Because I've heard various stories from various artists I've interviewed about, you know, how they did. I mean, a lot of them are the same, but some have been different, and it kind of threw me off for a second. So how did your group get on the lineup?
I truthfully don't know. I wasn't involved in any of the process. I get a call one day, I'm working, and I was like, hey, can I call you real quick? This was, I think, October.
It was like November last year.
Yeah, November last year. We had just got done like playing a few shows, and it was only 3 months after adding the boys, the 2 boys there. And I get a call, so I go outside real quick, sneak away from work. I'm like, hey, what's up? He says, hey, so there's this opportunity that we can play this festival next year. I thought he was being scammed. I was like, dude, I would get this check by a lawyer. I would get all this. Don't put any money in there. I said, we've heard stories like this before. And so he's like, yeah, I'll get it checked up. And then he gives me a call 2 weeks later, and he's like, no, it's all legit. So he's the one that set it up. So if anyone.
I know, tell me the story.
It's pretty crazy. So to be quite honest, I logged on to Facebook one day. A local promoter in Arizona shared a post by Emily Muse, the Blue Ridge Rising Artist booking agent, I think. Emily posted saying, hey, we're looking for artists. someone in local in Tucson shared her post. I wasn't even friends with her. I didn't even follow the festival. Someone had shared it and I saw it. So through that, I emailed Emily and just was like, you know, hey, we're from Arizona, you know, the band summary, our history, music, you know, that we'd come out there for it from Tucson and everything. And I don't know, I guess we got selected.
There you go. There you go. And sometimes all it takes is the right time, right place, and right opportunity to go and do that. Do you know what
Oh, yeah.
day you're playing yet?
Can't
We
say
are
time.
we're playing Thursday.
On Thursday. Okay, so Thursday the 9th. September the 9th. All right. I'll remind myself
Yeah.
about that before we close.
One-
So let's go talk about. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say, the one thing I do remember about him calling and saying the contract was, I remember we had to keep it from every single one of the band members and every single person in our families at home, because he told me that if I had told anybody, we would be voided out.
Yeah,
It's highly confidential when they're doing their, you know, trying to get the artist under contract. They made it. The email had some very serious language about.
And that's when I knew it was legit, is when he's like, yeah, you can't say a single word. We got to keep it from the boys because we know they can't keep their mouth shut.
Non-disclosure agreements are fun. And the reason I completely understand what Blue Ridge is, one of the things that I've been talking about over the past couple of months is it's the announcements and the buzz around who's getting onto the lineup. When they start dropping the names, you know, one by one as it goes on, it's built up the excitement around. So of course, if you say something early than expected, everyone's like, oh my gosh, I can't believe you're on it. And then that kind of ruins the surprise for them. So yeah, I completely understand that. Completely get it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. That's how I knew it was legit.
Yeah. Let's swing back a second because I want to talk about the two singles that you guys have here. At least the ones that I saw, at least on your YouTube channel, Waste of Life and Time Bomb. And as I will say this, they really surprised me as soon as I started listening. I think Time Bomb surprised me more than Waste of Life did. And I'm not sure why specifically, but they grabbed me right away. Like I said, from their professionalism, their, you know, how polished that these songs sound to me. Who wants to talk a little bit about, let's start with Waste of Life. Who wants to tell me about how this one came about?
Well, I'll take Waste of Life and you take Time Bomb. So Waste of Life, it kind of came about, we started writing it around the time that the BLM movement started happening, around the George Floyd situation, and we were just as outraged as everybody. Actually, that was one of our first shows that we did, was we went downtown and played Rage Against the Machine songs with random people from random bands, and that was like the first time Friends in Hell ever made a public appearance. And so we were like, you know what, I still don't feel like we've done enough. So we decided, we're like, let's write a song about racism. And that's kind of just like where Waste of Life started to come. We wanted to make it heavy, and we had hip hop influence, and we knew that was one of the best ways to get that message across. So we really wanted to put the hip hop in there as well.
And I'm trying to memory jog here. Isn't that the song, like almost like right in the, it starts out like pretty heavy, then right in the middle, like Noah comes in with some more softer vocals through it?
Oh, those are PJ actually.
It's
PJ doing it. Okay. So that's what I'm saying. Then and that kind of threw me off a little bit with that. It's like, it's something definitely I wasn't expecting to hear. But what decided to bring in the hip hop influence though?
Me and PJ, we are really big. I started out as a hip hop producer. Well, when I started producing music, I was really big into Juice WRLD's one of my favorite artists, and he's one of the reasons I believe I'm still here today. And same with PJ. PJ's has a really big influence by him as well. And we didn't want to give that up. We wanted to still be able to write music that everybody could connect with, and that included us, because we really loved hip hop. So we wanted to incorporate that. You know, we had heard other bands like Dropout Kings and all that, and we knew it could be done, and we wanted to do it because that's a big thing for me and PJ.
Okay, PJ, tell me a little bit about the hip hop influence.
Yeah, I actually just used to mess around with my old friends from high school. We would just like rap and we would record tracks, and so I actually took it serious and would I was really good with lyrics. Like I even in elementary, middle school, and high school, they always said, "Oh, you're a really good poet. Like you're really good with words and stuff," because I just love wordplay. And so I just started taking that to with this song was the first song I had written for them was Waste of Life. I kind of wish we recorded it. I wasn't too much into metal music, so I wasn't doing like growls and fries or doing anything like heavy. Like
You didn't even know what metalcore was.
yeah, I didn't
when
even
you
know.
joined the
I
band.
didn't remember. I remember that. I said, "What is metalcore?" And I didn't understand all these different kinds of metal genres. I said, "Oh shit, this is a big variety." But the Waste of Life, I actually wish I would have recorded it as I perform it now, because as I perform it now, I'm yelling that shit like top of my, I'm shaking on stage when I'm screaming that shit. But when we recorded it, I kind of just did it like monotone. So when you hear the recording, it doesn't have the energy it has when we play it live. Like when you hear it, it's kind of like I know who I am by the end of the day. Like it kind of sounds like it's la-di-da-di. It's not metal, so I feel like that's why it's kind of soft.
And I don't think there's anything wrong with that. It just shows a little bit of a mix up in, your musical, talents
Thank you.
and, career of, being able to say like, we're just not a metalcore band. We have other things that we can do around with that. So I
I never thought about it that
think it's
way.
a bad thing, with the energy. If you want to, when you add that live, that's great. But I mean, I don't think there was anything wrong with the recording at all from the way that you do it then.
Appreciate that.
So that's good.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And plus, a lot of people are getting really big into the blending of the genres, and hip hop and metalcore. People, they're very, when you go deep into the stereotypes, they're very different. Like you'll find metal people hate hip hop, and hip hop people like diehards hate metal. But if you look at it, those two genres have so much more related than I think a lot of other genres do, because the hi-hat rhythms are the same things, like the double bass patterns, and just stuff like that. I think it's becoming a lot more normal for hip hop and metal to like each other, because of people like Suicide Boys and Ghostman and stuff like that introducing those metal elements. So now it's becoming, we wanted to be able to reach everybody. So
And that makes total sense. I like I said, I think it works, for what you guys do. So, tell me about Time Bomb. This is the one that I will admit, this is the one that grabbed me more. And I think it's because it's heavy, like, real, like to me, it's like real heavy. Noah, tell me a little bit more about this one.
The story behind Time Bomb, at least how I know it, Cody can probably chime in a little, is way more, it's a little more simple, I say. It's about working with someone or associating with people who every day you just feel like you're being pushed more and more to the edge, or interacting with them, you're just like ticking inside, like you're gonna explode. Like I think we've all been there with people or situations where just interacting is just some people, just want to explode eventually, like a ticking time bomb.
yeah. And what's funny is actually when we were writing this song, we were working with someone who we had a lot of problems with at the time, because they weren't meeting deadlines or doing promises that we had agreed upon. And so secretly, he was recording vocals for it, not knowing that the vocals were about the relationship we had with him.
Oh, wow. Wow. All righty then. That's a little rough.
Yeah.
Did they ever find out eventually of that this was about them?
I think so, but we've all squashed the beef now. Like it happened. All we want to do is create a supportive community with musicians here. So we kind of went up to him and told him, like, this is stupid. Why are we still? It's been a year since all of it happened. Let's just work. Let's just support each other and get each other's bands to where they need to be.
All right.
So ever since then, we squashed it. But I do think he knows.
Okay. That's so weird. I want to take a little bit more of a serious kind of question here back with Waste of Life, since you mentioned it, and I kind of had to think about this for a minute or two, and maybe it's because, and I don't, like I said, I don't want to assume anything, but maybe it's because of the area that you're in, but and it's something that also Tony had mentioned, and this is why I think I picked up on this. Tony, you told me when you were younger that you called yourself, a chubby little brown kid on the playground. But in all seriousness, I mean, was racism or is racism heavy in your area?
So, okay, that's a good question actually, because I've always been trying to like, get away from it and just like, just like normally joke about it as like memeing and stuff like that. But like as I get older, like honestly, bro, I just like start to realize that, it's starting to impact me just a tiny bit more as life goes by, because like I realize it's a legit thing that's actually happening in in my area, and it's like it was becoming more common and more common and more common, like uh in my area as like I grew older. So like I started to realize, I mean, like, oh man, I've been really joking about it, and it's like it started to affect me and be like, yeah, I should probably not joke about it anymore. So yeah, I honestly just like, just realized that it's just like started to bother me just a little bit, but like not too much.
Right. And I
Yeah.
mean, what about for the rest of you? I mean, have you noticed that is racism? I mean, the fact that you decided to take your band and to go play, like, I guess, should we say it was a Black Lives Movement, event
Yeah.
Yeah,
in that sense, right? That you
like
decided to do that. I mean, that to me speaks volumes around you guys of how you stand, your stances are against racism, which is great. I mean, but is this something that you've seen more prevalent, around in your area?
here in Tucson, because we're so close to the border, um, and here in Tucson, we have like a town called Oro Valley, and then there's Tucson, which is known as like just the there's a big stigma around Oro Valley. There's a lot of rich, elderly
Upper
people there.
class.
It's a retirement community, and in that there's a lot of racism. Like in the job I do, I encounter people every day who are just will say these disgusting things, and I'll tell them I don't accept that in my shuttle. And if they're going to talk like that they can find their own rides and stuff like that. That's one thing I won't tolerate in my shuttle. But I encounter people like that every day, and it's
Wow.
mainly because like I'm Hispanic, and I don't look like it. I'm very white. I'm a white Hispanic, but I get to hear like, I guess I get to go like undercover and hear all these things because they don't know my ethnicity. And so especially here in Tucson, there's a lot of racism towards Hispanics, especially, I would say.
Yeah, same with me. I'm also 3/4 Hispanic. So like I'm more Hispanic than I am white. So also that line I have in Waste of Light is I'm not even white. So like I was kind of behind it, but I think me having a very heavy, because my grandma was heavy Hispanic, my grandpa, I got family in Mexico, and so like I'll go every few years and go see them down in Mexico. So just knowing like where I come from and the roots and how people don't understand certain things and they're quick to say be racist about it, So like when I was younger, I could relate to Tony because he said that he used to like make fun of himself, like cause little brown kid, like I was the same thing. So I think we're grown to like accept it, and we just make it seem more funny or make it like that to make it ease up on it. But at the end of the day, it's still racism. So like when we become older, we understand that.
Yeah, and especially being here in Tucson and being half Hispanic and half white, I do notice people, and there's a lot of kids and people here that are half Hispanic, half white. And when you're, especially because the Hispanic culture is so prevalent here in Tucson, like people in the middle that you don't get fully accepted by the Hispanic people because they think you're too white, and then you don't get accepted by the other side because you're too Mexican, or so that's also been a big problem too, that growing up I noticed a lot too.
Has this, I guess I'll ask this, has your, your encounters and your, with racism in your area, and even, just in your normal day to day, as you said, Cody, you hear this stuff almost like daily. Has this put any influence into the way that you write your music and what music that you want to deliver to the fans? I mean, is this, are you guys like, in a sense, the very Rage Against the Machine style that it's like, we're here to speak out and stand up and kind of show the world about things that, most people will try to ignore or just pass by?
We want to first of all, I want to say we don't aim, or we're never going to be, say, a political band. I mean, as soon, just to put this out, like as soon as as far as politics go, I mean, we're even split. I mean, I think some of us are split. So like, it doesn't matter. Like the point of music is whatever side you like, whatever president, who cares? Racism is racism. So, you know, you support BLM, and it's mostly, you know, racism and just treating people right at the end of the day for us, and saying like, you know, we're not scared to make songs about big topics and speak our minds. Like if you're against us, you're against us, and we don't care.
And besides, if you're against us, like especially with songs like Waste of Life, if you don't like it because we talk about racism, then we don't want to associate with you anyways, because you're more than likely, if you don't like the content, you know. But and like we don't, yeah, just exactly like you said, we don't consider politics, because I have friends who are extremely right, I have friends who are extremely left, I'm in the middle, and I don't care. It doesn't bother me. I don't see why people have to care so much about politics. But the one thing we do right is like we get influenced is we will stand up for what's right. Like we have another song off that same album that Waste of Life is on, called Amber, and that one's about like sex trafficking and stuff like that. And like, so we just write about stuff that doesn't involve politics, but it is wrong. Yeah.
But it sounds like from what I'm hearing is that you will, you know, your music does kind of influence about things that are, you know, happening today and have been happening for a while, that you're willing to, you know, stand up and speak out against in that sense.
Yeah, like you said, Amber, like a lot of people don't know this, but sex trafficking is extremely common in Tucson and just Arizona in general. There's a lot of it because we're so close to the border.
Yeah.
So a lot of it does happen through Arizona or around us. You don't see it, you know, it's really, you know, in-depth, secretive stuff going on, but it's happening around us. So that's why, you know, Amber is about that.
Yeah. So we like to write about stuff that stand up for the things that actually matter and are right. Like we don't get involved in the little politics, because that stuff isn't what matters. What matters is taking action against these terrible things.
Yep. Understood. All right. Well, thank you for sharing that. I greatly appreciate it. When you as a band, you know, you said, let's talk about, because you did say you have an EP that's coming out, correct?
Yeah.
And when is that going to get released?
We are actually, this entire week we've spent in the studio every single night for at least 5 to 6 hours, finishing up the last pieces to it all. We're really happy with it. We're finishing up the last song today and tomorrow, and we're shipping it off to go get mixed by one of another Tucson band that they have a studio and they do our stuff. So we're trying to get it out right when our tour starts on September 3rd, but more than likely, I think it's going to end up being September 9th or the week after.
Okay. Do you want to talk about a title yet? Have you released the title, or are you keeping that secret so far?
Yeah, you know, this is probably a good time to release the title, but
all right.
So we kind of based the title off of our feelings about going to Blue Ridge and about all of the opportunities we've been getting lately. So we decided to title it Nothing's Promised.
Okay.
Because just like we based it off of everything this band has gone through, from like the depression that the next day's never promised, you know, to this tour. Like, who knows if we'll ever get to do another tour again. So, you know, nothing's promised. So we just want to be able to take advantage of the moment we're in, because you never know what the next, you know, chapter brings.
I like it. Life's too short, right? Because you just never know.
Exactly.
Yeah, you never know.
Exactly.
Okay. So let's tell our fans a little bit more about you guys as a group from outside of, you know, your music stuff, because I'm sure everybody has things that they like to do outside of music. At least I hope that you do in some way. So I already know one answer from what Tony told me, but let me see if the trend continues. How many of you are video gamers on a regular basis?
I
I'm not
wouldn't say I used to be, but ever since being in the studio so much, I just kind of forget about them.
Yeah,
Yeah.
with the band and school, and now with us having jobs and stuff, there's just not enough time to like all the games that I used to like to play. It's just too much to do. Like you have to do too much grinding and stuff, and I can't do that kind of stuff anymore. I just
Yeah, we put 30 to 40 hours every week into the band, so it's like
Right.
we never get time outside. If I am, it's like right after band, and we're just hanging around talking for a little bit. That's like
yeah,
the
or like
fun
the
time we
only free
get.
time I have, like I want to relax. Like I don't want to like sit there and play games. It feels like a
Yeah,
waste of time if I'm sitting there playing games.
just feel brain dead.
Yeah,
So,
I used to be actually a video game addict. I would literally play like so much, and then to where I have a schedule to where I only play an hour a day or maybe 2 hours max.
Right.
So like I actually have to down to like a science.
so let me ask Tony first, because he brought it up early. What's your favorite games that you like to play?
When I was 10, I would always play on my Xbox 360, and one of my all-time favorite games, and still to this day, is Black Ops 2, because that shit would never fade away. But I would always, dude, that was a 24/7 game I would always play, bro, because I would just play that from after school all the way to like 3 a.m. on a school night. Really not supposed to,
All right.
Yeah, but like same thing with with everyone. Like I just stopped playing because like Xbox in general. 'Cause, like I'm in a band now, and like I started to like do like a lot more like studio stuff. I do like a lot of mixes. I start like writing music of my own sometimes, and then like music for Present Hell. But yeah, Skate 3 was also a really good game that when I was 14.
Okay.
It was like one of the most best games that I ever had. What was another one? Halo 4. That was one of my favorite ones. Minecraft, obviously, and GTA. GTA is like I play that on a regular basis, like whenever like I have free time. So GTA 5 online, like on
Okay.
Xbox.
PJ, what about you?
I'm more of like an Apex guy. I've really been here now. And then I know Cody's a big Apex guy, and honestly, the game I've always been into ever since I was younger is called Warframe. It was like a free game that came out on Xbox, and so I just always grinded at it on like a super high level, just always playing it when I have time.
Okay. So Cody and Noah, you guys kind of were like, yeah, we used to, and kind of half. So tell me, what did you used to play?
Well, I would still play more video games, honestly, if I if I had time, but like also there just haven't been any good games out. I'm the type of person that likes to play intense stories. Like I like whenever I can connect to the characters and build with them and stuff like that. I'm not big for like the online Call of Duty stuff, or I like Apex, but even that I get bored of after a while or two. So like some of my favorite ones like of all time are like Devil May Cry, God of War, Uncharted, stuff like that.
Uncharted,
I love
my heart.
stories. That one brings back
Uncharted
memories.
has my heart. Yeah, that one and sure. And Noah, what about you?
I used to be super into Call of Duty. Like every day after school, I played hours.
I can picture you doing that.
But as time's gone on, I kind of got off console gaming, went to computer, and I actually played a lot of Blizzard games for a while. So like I played a lot of Warcraft 3, tons of hours, and then now I've been playing Hearthstone 6 years, card game.
Okay.
I still only get to play like 30 minutes a
Are
day.
you one of those people that like plays like
Yeah, but Hearthstone though, you don't need hours of game time sometimes at Hearthstone, so that's all good.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Burke, what about you? What did you used to play?
Honestly, like I used to play so many games. Like I love GTA, like all the Halos, a lot of the Call of Duties. But like I'm honestly with Cody. Like my favorite games are story games. I love Bethesda games like Skyrim and Fallout. And they're making new games that I'm gonna play those games when they come out. Like those are the games that I'm waiting for. And Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order was one of my last games that I just played and loved that shit. It's like Dark Souls but easier, so it's not. I can't
but
play it.
easier.
Yeah.
See,
And also another game I love is Dark Souls, but it's way too hard. I can't do that.
Yeah, and it's funny you mentioned that particular one, because for me, like Jedi Order has just been the bane of my existence. Like, love the story, but I'm not a fan of that hardcore, game style of like, if you lose here, you got to go back hours of play to go to, no, that
Oh
drives me
yeah, that game
That
took
drives
a
me
lot
crazy.
of hours of my life away.
Me too, and not like that when it came out.
I even had to go down and lower the difficulty halfway through.
and the reason, and the funny thing is, the reason I asked this is that it's, as anyone's watched any of the other interviews, when you're watching this video, if you're watching this video, the trend I've seen with artists is two things, maybe three, but it's really two. And the two things are, one, that outside of your music, there are people who like to do actual art, like painting, crafting, sculpting, whatever it may be, that artists turn to other arts, for their enjoyment and hobbies. The other one is that they're gamers. So it's interesting I always like to ask that question, to see like how many of them there was only one artist we've interviewed so far when I've asked, are any of you gamers? And one person said yes, and the rest of them were like, no, that's just not our thing. And I was like, wow, okay. It's like I was kind of impressed by that in a sense. I mean, but you guys are saying the same thing primarily. It's like now band is focus, right? Now this is the more time to delve into that and to focus into the music outside of the outside hobby stuff. But what do you guys, when you have time, when you have that downtime, what do you like to do outside of gaming things? Each of you tell me like something that you really love and enjoy.
Well, for me, I guess, well, I'll most of the time just like, it's just I never get free time, so I never know what I do. But I guess like spend time with my fiance, would just like to watch TVs or movies, or I like to do like artistic stuff, like I like to do music videos or like to edit podcasts and stuff like that.
Okay.
I like to stay busy, but
See,
what about?
it's the art thing. It's a trend. It's there. It's instinctual. It seems like.
Oh yeah.
Right, Noah, what about you?
I don't have a lot of free time either because I don't have a day job, but I work two businesses on the side, so I'm pretty tight a lot. But when I do have time, I like to go catch movies at local theater or just go to dinner with old friends. Just catch up with people. That's about it.
Okay.
And for me, usually a lot of my off time goes towards Pokemon Go.
Okay.
But lately I've been doing less of that.
And your band time.
Huh?
And your band time at practice. I see you on your phone catching Pokemon.
Yeah, just while we're waiting, like while people are tuning.
That's funny. All right, Tony Burke, what about you two?
Well, basically, I don't know. If I'm feeling good, like good enough, and I don't feel bad, like I like to go practice in the studio, play drums, kind of learn new songs, new techniques, whatever. Got to get good for the band. Other than that, though, I like watching movies and stuff, watching TV. I like to hang out with my girlfriend, and, like my mom and stuff.
Okay.
But yeah.
Yeah. One thing I want to add to that, most of my like free time, now that I'm not working anymore, I've been setting more schedules. I have a little clothes business I do. I actually buy and resell vintage clothing. So like stuff from the 90s, 80s, 70s, Nike, old designer clothing. So I have like a page and I post everything on there. It's called Big Man Bangers because I used to be a big man. So it's all like 2X, 3X, 4X, all this stuff. Like I used to wear that, yeah, because I used to be into that stuff when I was big.
Right.
So I have so much. I used to be kind of like a clothes hoarder. I have like 3 or 4 closets. So over time, I've just been selling clothes, and so I've been taking it into like a whole new level. Like this past month, I just made $420 just in pure profit. Last month was a little less, but that's because I got to do. I was working at the time, so now I'm just doing full clothes, and I can maybe get some new band stuff.
That's cool. No, there's nothing wrong with that. Good for you. Good for you. So, self-entrepreneurship is a excellent thing. So yeah, good for you.
Trade clothes for music equipment.
Yeah. All right. Hey, whatever you got to do, your equipment's not cheap. That's for sure. So, and Tony, what do you like to do when you're not doing usually music stuff?
Oh, not with my music stuff. Oh, depending. Damn, a good question. Depending if my mood, I would just play my Xbox sometimes, but I would just get bored in 15 minutes. But usually I would just like watch TV and just like literally go on my phone for hours, bro, and just like play games with my phone. And I would sometimes like go to Bert's house and just chill with him at the studio. Like pretty cool. We just spend hours over there.
Sorry. There'll be times where I'll go to the studio just randomly and they'll just be practicing because they're always just so dedicated. Like they're just always playing.
And whenever I'm in there drumming, someone walks in, scares the shit out of me. Yeah, and I just look up and there's someone there.
You just don't expect it, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
because with music stuff, I would just literally spend hours and hours every single day just on my laptop on Studio One Personas. Like that was my upgraded software coming from Audacity when I was 14, but like recently I just got that. But like just hours just writing music and just trying to like recreate like riffs that are from Born of Osiris, Pierce the Bell, and Break Adventure and stuff like that. But like, yeah, I would just always do that because like it's just one of my favorite things to do in my
Okay.
lifetime.
Awesome. All right. So let's wrap up here and tell our our watchers of videos, like, what last words would you like to leave with the interview here, with talking about either like the EP, your appearance of Blue Ridge music, whatever's on your mind, fair game. So I'm going to switch it up here. Let's start with Burke and I'll work my way around.
Oh, wait, what was the question again?
Last words that you like to tell for our fans about anything about either the band or your music, the Blue Ridge appearance, whatever's on your mind there.
Honestly, I don't really know what to say. What do you think?
When it comes to writing music, don't rush it.
Oh, definitely, yeah. Practice a lot, to be honest. If you think like you're bad or whatever, like
Yeah.
I know like the guitarist of Dead Rose, for example, he played like 6 or 7 years before he finally got really good, but now he's so good and people say he's really good with us. Like he comes on stage with us sometimes. So yeah.
Yeah.
And I put in a lot of hard work and dedication to drumming when I first got into it. Pretty much the pandemic happened and then I practiced nonstop and then I got really good. And
Alright.
that's pretty much when the band came up to me and then I joined them.
That's
All right.
cool.
Tony, what last words do you have for us?
Literally, like I don't know. I don't even know what to say, honestly. Well, yeah, don't rush when it comes to like making your music because like more creativity on like taking your time with it. It just putting more effort into it, and you just at some point create like a masterpiece instead of rushing it and then just create some garbage that you thought it was magic. But yeah, another thing I could say is just don't listen to anyone who is like telling trash about you and shit like that. But literally, like if you get bullied for like who you are and stuff like that, just don't listen to them. Don't ever. I guess that's like my last word. So.
All right. No, those are good ones. Thank you for that. DJ?
I would say mine would be don't take no for an answer. Because if I would have taken no for an answer, I wouldn't be where I'm at today. I always challenge what people think of me or what I can do. I just, even if it doesn't seem possible, still try. Like it's not the end.
Okay. And then Cody and Noah, what do you got for me? Last words.
I would say just for anyone listening, anything you want to do, don't listen to other people if they're against it or negative. I mean, I just want to say when I said I wanted to be a metal vocalist, I got laughed at by a lot of people, and I just kind of just like walked away and was like, I'm gonna do it. So that's my last words.
I guess mine would be just manifest everything and consider everything a winning streak, even the losses. Don't let other people's opinions bother you. Follow Friends in Hell. We got some big things coming, some amazing music coming out with this new EP. We possibly have a big lineup change coming up.
4-song EP.
So we're not done. We're gonna blow up and show the world.
All right. All right. So just as a reminder for everyone, Friends in Hell is going to be appearing at the Blue Ridge Rock Festival. Their stage date is going to be on Thursday, September the 9th. So please, if you're attending the festival, come see them, come see their set. And of course, most importantly, as I always say, if they have merch to purchase, please go and do that. Buy a single, buy a track, buy a t-shirt, buy a sticker, buy whatever, because this is how these bands continue on doing what they do. So if you like them and you're following them, please go ahead and do that to support them. And of course, if you see them around, walking around the festival, go say hi. You guys are staying all 4 days, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So if you see
Yes.
them around, go say hi to them. They're friendly people. Like, we have a great conversation here today. So just as a reminder for everyone else, the Blue Ridge Rock Festival takes place September the 9th through September the 12th. Guys and friends of health, thank you so much for taking the time today to do this. And we finally got this interview done. I greatly appreciate it. It was great talking to you.
Thank you.
Thank
so
you.
much.
Appreciate that.
Thanks for
Have a good night.
All right.